We have here today the Snowjoe lithium 80 volt lithium powered two-stage snowblower, and this one is model number iON8024-XRP, which is the same as the XR, only includes 6 amp hour batteries instead of 5 amp hour batteries. Now the batteries for this are 40 volt, but there's 2 of them to make 80 volts. This is the 6 amp hour one, which is actually smaller physically than my old 4 amp hour ones. So I just upgraded to this, picked it up off Facebook Marketplace. Barely looks like it was used. So I thought we'd open it up and see the mechanics and internals and whatnot. So let's see. So I loosened some of these already. I'm interested in seeing how they attach the what's this one? How they convert the electric motor to turn the auger and the wheels. In the battery box, the springs that hold or that put tension on the battery also have 2 hex bolts. Require a 5mm Allen wrench or bit to open or to remove. The owner's manual calls them screws. So I was looking for screws. I didn't see any screws. I saw hex bolts. They also referred to the bolts on the side as screws, which technically, you know, the thread is a screw, but they're not screws, they're bolts. So, remove those. There you go. And then, now it wants you to remove the chute too, but I'm not going to remove the chute. This is plastic and it's not cold out, so I'm just going to gently move things over that way. Okay, and here we go. We have the different motors. Let's move the camera a little closer here. Angle down. Get a little more light. Alright, so what do we all got in here? Well, they got some pretty blue LEDs on the bottom, which won't come on now because I have the batteries out, which would be these little things right there. There's one on each side. Kind of lights up. There's a little clear window here. Kind of lights up. I guess it's good so you can see if your batteries... belts are snapped. This is the motor, which is really kind of a nice motor. Heat sinked, and remember it's going to be wintertime, so cooling, even though it's heat sinked, it's not very big heat sinks, but something better than nothing. Plus wintertime, cold, blah blah blah. The pulley on the top appears to be maybe aluminum or zinc. Pretty good gear ratio there. Oh, it's a stepper motor. Permanent magnet. There's another motor on the bottom. Looks to be of the exact same kind. That one drives the wheels. However, the pulley on the bottom one is a little smaller. Different gear ratio, give you a little more torque. Whereas the top ones need a little more speed for throwing that snow a little bit of a distance there. There's holes on the bottom of here of the pan. Now, one thing that I'm not most impressed on, and I'll zoom in here, is the drive pulleys, or the driven pulleys, are plastic. Yes. Belt's a little sloppy too, but it is a ribbed belt. Both of them are. The gears here are plastic, and they are held on by a simple bolt on the auger one. That does not seem like it will last. The bottom one seems to have a massive nut and some bars going through it. Get a good look there. That's that little green square is the LED to light this all up at night. Now, the gear that's actually connected to the wheels is in fact metal, nice metal one, but the one going on the belt is plastic. I wonder how long that will last. Looks like some solid connections here. They're also hot glued. Zoom out. Belt replacement, so it would seem for the auger is going to be pretty simple. Now I saw a lot of complaints about this unit, that the auger after some use will stop working. I can't comment yet. I'll have to wait for a snow day, and today's 66 degrees right now, so it's beautiful out. So I'll have to wait until some snow falls to test that. Now my Single Stage Snoejoe also has a plastic gear on the drive belt, which has not gone out, although I am seeing complaints about that. And what it is there's a big nut kind of in the middle. Actually, this is a little small on that one. The drive one does have it. And what happens is you hit something, kind of stall out the augers, and instead of the shear bolt shearing, the metal nut that's in the center of the plastic pulley or gear kind of strips out and just starts rotating, and then it's junk. We got some interesting things in the manual here. Replacing auger blades. Unless you're, picking up rocks and a lot of crap, you really should never have to replace those. There's another one for... That looks to be a pain in the butt. We got replacing impeller, which is what shoots the snow out the chute. Then we got replacing auger belt. That would be this one here, which is pretty darn simple on that one. You probably just remove M6 bolt, 6 mil bolt. So looks like a 10 millimeter. It's a 6 mil bolt with a 10 millimeter head. So a 10 millimeter socket. You can slip that pulley off, or what's that off? Oh, it's metal on the outside. Slip that off, the belt comes off, put the new one on, back on. The drive belt, that one's a little more tricky, as you have to take the wheels off. Oh, it wants you to take the bottom of this thing. You got to place it up and balance it on the front here. Take the bottom off, pull the sprocket. Yeah, that's a project and a half. Yep, doesn't look like fun. And then lubricate auger shaft, auger gear case. Unless you're have a leak, a gear lube leak, you really shouldn't have to touch it. Oh, yeah, it even says here, unless gear cases are filled to correct level at factory, unless there is evidence of leakage, no additional lubricant should be required. Check lubricant level every 25 hours. So you can check the level. If it's low, then top it off. Once again, not something you really have to worry about too much there. Storage. Yeah. So overall, the mechanical construction of this, the front end, that's tried and true, pretty much the same as most two-stage blowers. The motors, well, the stepper motors, these are nice motors. Permanent magnet, no brushes to worry about. Both are the same. The motor gears, great. The sprocket for the axle, great. But again, they used a plastic pulley / gear for the auger and a plastic pulley / gear to put on the axle to go from the belt. And that I am not impressed of. If I ever break one, I think I would replace it with an aluminum or zinc. Now the electronics, let's see if we can take a peekaboo at some electronics here. I think I'm going to have to pull my camera off the tripod, so bear with me. Come on. There we go. We can turn on. Oh, whoops, I'm zooming in there. Don't mean to be doing that. Night shot a bit. So there's some of the electronics there. You really probably shouldn't be getting any water in there. Shouldn't be too much of an issue. Yeah, some wire plugs. She'll look back over here. So yeah, this is a nice big iron or steel, not stainless, gear. There's that plastic one. Snap ring on there. Yeah, I don't see that lasting. I think I'm going to measure that up and see if ahead of time if I can just get some. I mean, these things should only be maybe $5 or $6 each at the farm supply store. I'll go to Farm and Fleet. There's also Fleet Farm, Tractor Supply Company. Northern Tool would even have them. Beautiful gear on top there. And these motors. Oof. Total, this thing's supposed to be 2200 watt. So each of these motors should be 1100 watts. And that's some decent amount of power.